is all the game.
Bullshit, all right? Bullshit. I know what happened to that guy. They shot that guy flying goldfish and then they killed him.
Think about it. What did
I
you see?
saw them kill him.
No, what did you really see?
We're back again with another director's dive. David Fincher. This was supposed to come before 7, according to the lore, which I can sort of see. We'll get into it. This is supposed to come before 7, but Brad Pitt was able right then and there to do 7, so he did that one first. And now he's got Michael D., son of Kirk Douglas.
Yes, sir.
Who was
Spartacus.
the wrongfully casted as Spartacus back in the day. We won't get into that. But yeah, we're back. We're in this next dive of David Fincher, and it is The Game. First time watch for me.
Same.
Yeah. It's funny you said that little bit about Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas, because like I told my dad I had watched this and like that I was doing a director's dive with you guys, and he's like, "Yeah, I really like Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas is fine."
Michael's fine.
Watered down. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like his dad.
Yeah, his
But,
son's okay, but kind of sucks.
I watched this one like 10 years ago, so I'm the only one that's seen it. So I'm curious what your guys' takes are first on overall impressions.
I mean, this is definitely his sloppiest that I've seen.
Yeah.
It feels like, I mean, they kind of lose the concept of time and space there at the end when they're trying to get all the pieces to come together, and because I mean, they really milk it out in that second act, kind of the first act too, but they really got to like pull out all the stops and get everything where it needs to be, and to get it there, it's like, can we climb 20 stories in 30 seconds? Maybe.
Yeah.
Can we survive
like I feel like there were a
falls?
lot of things like to build suspense that just like were either unnecessary or just kind of like out of place, or like like you said about the timing. I don't know, like for instance, like at the beginning in like the first act when the weird shit starts happening with the TV. And he's like, "Where's the kid?" Like he's ripping apart his TV, and I'm like, "Dude, it's in the fucking clown." Like, no shit. Like, like what the fuck, dude? Like, there was another point in the movie where I thought that same thing, and like, it's just like, I don't know, just like a weird way of thinking. I don't know. I feel like it was just kind of forced, like sometimes, like his view or his acting, I guess, like the character, like how he viewed what was going on.
It seemed a little out of pocket, some of the stuff that he would do, because it just didn't feel like the way they set up his character. It didn't feel like he would do those things. I mean, even if he was enticed by his brother being like, "Oh, it's a great experience," but hearing all these other plebs talk about how it's a great experience, I don't think he'd be like, "Oh, I heard him talking in the locker room. I think I'm going to give it a whirl now." I don't know. The way they set up his character, he seems pretty set in his ways and not really down to clown with that petty shit, but...
Yeah.
Oh, I guess in the very beginning, totally getting Succession vibes, right? With the intro.
Dude, that's
pretty much
like
the same intro,
ripped.
I mean, like
that's crazy.
I mean, holy shit. Like
I mean, it's like the family vintage vibe. The dad's like absent, walking away, like I was just like, so everybody's just stealing shit and mixing.
They like really hyped they like brought it up like 3 times at the beginning about like what happened to his dad. You like like over the course of the first act, you kind of like find out what was up with his dad. Then like I feel like they didn't mention it again until like the very end. But like I knew that's how I knew that's what was gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like I guess I'm still like debating if that was like well done, or if like there was just I don't know. I guess is that technically a Chekhov's gun? Is that, or am I thinking of I don't know.
It's just foreshadowing, I'd say.
Okay.
Also, who reads off their account number with a stranger in their car with them and is just like, "Hey, you want to check these numbers? What's your shit? Oh, here's my very confidential shit. I trust you."
Man, can we talk about car phones for a sec too? Like,
those were a thing.
Holy shit! How were those legal? Like, and when did they stop existing? Because I feel like when I was a kid, like I didn't see any car phones in real life, or maybe it's just like for rich people. I don't know.
Yeah. They're only like big for like 10 years or something.
Yeah. Tree cars.
But I mean, I feel like the main problem with this wasn't the directing. I think that was solid. I think it was just the concept and the source, like the writing of it. It was just like he did what he could with the source material, which is an interesting concept. I mean, if I just feel like maybe a mini series could have been better to kind of flesh it out a little more, because it did feel rushed in the last act, because that, or like trim up some of the fat off of the first and second acts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
And I
second act
agree.
pretty
Like, I
much
feel like there
especially.
was just so much shit that happened in the
Yeah.
third act. Like, and then the first and second were just like moving kind of slow.
It was
I don't know.
meandering, and like
So
the
big.
whole he met the waitress, they get trapped, and then they go their separate ways. I feel like that was like, okay, that's good, you know, but it could have been trimmed up a little bit to give us more meat onto leading us up to the big finale. I don't know. That's my opinion. I just feel like the material that he had to work with was the problem. It wasn't his directing. I feel like the directing was obviously it was good, but anyway.
So let me ask you this: like, getting through the movie, were you ever like flip flopped on like if CRS
No.
was actually like you thought that it was just the game the entire time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I
woman
kinda
was
do
so
too.
obvious about everything.
That's the
like
point. Yeah, that's the problem.
I know.
she was like everything she did. It was just like, oh, okay, well, she's part of the crew. You know, part of the ship, part of the crew here. Blah blah blah.
I know.
We're going through. She was the worst part, and it kind of just ruined the whole like immersive experience. The way she like looked at him when, you know, she was in the car when he was reading off his information. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
could you be more obvious? Or like when
Yes.
she disappears to go get changed in her own house, and I don't know.
Mhm.
She
Yeah,
ruined the
that character
experience.
made no sense. It was just clearly like a like plot element. We needed another female
Yeah.
character to like rope him in with because
Then you
I
just
don't
make her
think-
into a love interest at the end,
I
based
mean,
on some loose shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, this is kind of what I remember from like last time when I watched it. It's just not that interesting, and
I ain't gonna
No,
lie.
no.
I like was dozing. I was having a hard time keeping awake. Like
yeah,
in
the concept
first
is
act.
solid.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good premise, and honestly, I
Yeah.
think Sean Penn is like on point as like
He's good.
the character he's trying to portray, the brothers stuff
Mhm.
going on. But that dynamic like was shifted, like it shifted a lot. It like anytime him and Michael were together, it's like they fell back into a character that we weren't seeing with Michael when he's Fran. You know what I mean? Like I think you mentioned it, Alex. It was like some of Michael, like it was just unbelievable. Some of the stuff Michael's
Yeah.
character was doing. So like once he kind of got reeled in with Sean Penn with his brother, it was like, okay, I know this dynamic, but like this still kind of feels off. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but yeah.
Especially when he's like talking to his brother about how he's like kind of was a junkie and stuff. It's like he
Mhm.
clearly sees and has a place in his mind of what his brother is. So like, I don't know. I just don't believe that he would take his brother's word for this fun experience or anything that his brother says. He would take it. I mean, I get the idea of like, oh, we have those things where people go through these addictions and then you want to believe that they're better, but just Michael Douglas's character didn't feel like that kind of character to be like, oh, I'm in your corner now, bud.
I mean, I was fine with this character making the decision because, like, he's kind of like I mean, Michael Douglas was a good pick for this role because I haven't seen Wall Street, but I'm pretty sure he plays like a very energetic killer, fucking money character.
Mhm.
And this is kind of like Gordon Gekko, like 10, 20 years down the road, where he's like burnt out and doesn't have really much to care about. I kind of got those vibes where it's like he's the guy who needs the game for some reason, you know? So like he's looking for something in his life. And then I think the shot of like the dudes, like where he's like, you guys heard about the game? And they're like, oh, you're going to do the game? Like that's enough to sell me on like, oh, well, I don't have to just take his brother's word now where it's like, it's this thing people know about. So I was, the questionnaire and the hook of like getting in there and getting into the CRS and like them like giving a physical and stuff like that, that hooked me pretty well.
Same.
And it's like kind of like he commits to the mystery where like, therefore like I commit to the mystery as like the audience member. So that was pretty well done. I don't know. Like you said, I think it's just like, to me, I came back like this movie needs like a dual setup and it doesn't have a dual. It needs like another reason that someone else would be fucking with Michael Douglas's character or another entity that he questions if it's them. Yeah. Because they're trying to like, they're constantly like peeling back layers in this movie, but like underneath is like the same layer. So it's like, the whole time it's just them fucking with him, you know, like there's nothing outside of that mystery to make it. You needed another like pass to make it hookier, to make the story like make sense, you know, like
drawn in, because that's what I felt like. and I think partly the editing. I don't know. I just wasn't a huge fan. Like you said, maybe it was like time constraints or whatever. Like they're trying to piece some of the stuff together. The editing just felt a little choppy to me because of that reason. I mean, probably not like wholly the editor's fault. But I just
I couldn't really tell you any directing that stood out to me, honestly, for like Fincher's like stuff either. So like,
like I guess, like I don't know. I've been thinking about what you just said, and I don't know. I guess it's like part of the reason why he does the game or like goes to CRS is because like he's just bored with his life because he pretty much has everything.
Sure.
But I think if you introduced like, I don't know, some other person as an antagonist, like, I don't know, before he goes to CRS or like after, I don't know, I guess after wouldn't matter as much. But if you introduced an antagonist before he went to CRS, I could feel like I could see that like influencing his decision. Like it wouldn't be as big, like him going there because like, now he actually has something to like work around like somebody else, you know what I mean? And I don't know.
Yeah. Like I was just like thinking like you could have shifted Sean Penn's character to be more unbelievable or more like he's fucking with you, and then you could have had like your best friend be the guy who's like, you hear about the game, or vice versa, just have somebody there that's like, is it this guy? It's got to be like this guy because he does shit like this. You just need something, to make me like question and make it interesting. But it just, I don't know. I got notes on like the score too. I think the score really drags down this movie as much as it tries to elevate it. It fucking like it's constantly just like and like piano like like it's like throughout the whole movie it never ceases. It feels like so like if you just gave me those, if you even had like the same boring layering that you have right now with like jolty score when it like a mystery happens or something cool happens. It'd just be I think it'd still be a better movie in general because like it would just emphasize things more because everything just blurs together in this movie, like
sure. It felt like what you said earlier. The first act there was so much attention to the detail where I was like, okay, the payoff's going to be great.
Right, you think, yeah.
Right, because I mean the tests and stuff, I was ready for it, but then as soon as like the game I guess started, I was just kind of like, oh, so this is the path we're going down. All right, I guess I'm here to see how it ends. But it was just so predictable and just unbelievable at times where it's like, okay, how many people did you hire? How much is this? How did his brother afford it?
I feel like once his ex-wife called him and said, like, this is, you're 48 or whatever. This is like when your dad committed to it. I don't know. And then you find out his dad jumped out of a roof. I knew that's how, like, that's how it's going to end, you know, like, I don't know. And dude, I also like this isn't really anything with like the plot, but like I thought it was hilarious because like at the party at the end, like she straight up just like kisses him right in front of her husband. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was weird.
I mean, like they're probably just comfortable with each other, I guess. I mean, they're characters. Who cares? But like, I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know.
No, I don't think my mom and dad would ever kiss again. Then just be like cool with it, It just that's a weird
yeah,
thing.
right, like
I was on like plot hole watch for the second watch. I was like, something's gotta really not make much sense here, but I think it all I guess kind of checks out. Everything checks out for me. Like the newscaster, like sure you could probably pay off the newscaster or doctor the footage or whatever they did, but
I feel like you could use that just paying people off as a response to anything. Exactly.
The only thing that's like okay, I mean you guys, the biggest leap is literally the jump off the roof where it's like if you jump to the right you fucked everything up. Like so it's like that's the one point where it's like supposed to be the cathartic climax of like it is the game. Oh shit! It's like, but then you're like,
flip.
Yeah, right. Or like, what if he lands on his head? Like, it's like that moment is supposed to be like everything, and then you're sit there like questioning, like, wait, what the? They knew he was gonna jump through that.
I also thought it was like, I thought it was like kind of weak how they, I don't know, they like connected him at the diner with his ex-wife when he gets back from Mexico. Him watching just the commercial and finding out the dude is an actor. Like, I know, I mean, they played the audio of the commercial. Like, you couldn't hear the audio of the TV at all before that. But But like, I don't know. What if he didn't see that? Would they just try to get him again?
Keep
Later?
running the ad or whatever.
I don't know. Like, I guess I just, I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, like,
There's
was
a
that
lot of
planned?
little
I don't know.
things.
Yeah. Like, if he didn't pick up on that, then where would it go? You know what I
Right,
mean?
and that-
Like,
That's a huge problem. I mean, a lot of it was left up to chance. I mean, the jump off the roof, him seeing this, him picking up the guy's gun and shooting it at the tire instead of somewhere else. I mean,
And like no one reacting to the gunshot. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, there was
Like,
like
was it
weird.
going straight
right?
into the water and him pulling out the thing and being like, "Oh, this is the
Exactly. I was like, oh, he has the crank, but not the gun with him. Why didn't he
right."
keep the gun with
so
him?
much.
I guess, like,
chance in
yeah.
that
Yeah,
game.
it started to feel a little convenient for me.
I guess the only thing I could say is like if everything is just on the fly, like the plan is always like in motion.
That's what
and
I
there's
was.
no
I
set
assume there's
plan.
like investigators or like constantly people watching him.
That's like
constantly
the only.
following.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
like the
yeah.
only thing I could. I don't know.
And like again, another thing with the waitress is like they go back to his office and she just is like, "I'm gonna take off my shirt here. You mind if I use your shower?" It's like, okay. I mean, could you be more obvious as to setting this up for the next stage,
Yeah.
which is the the scandalous pictures?
Dude,
and all that
also
stuff?
that was like the next thing too. Like I know that they were trying to use that for blackmail, but who the fuck cares? You're just some
Right.
millionaire or billionaire or
Mhm.
whatever the fuck. Like, aren't you doing that all the time? Or don't people do
Right.
that all the time in the fucking?
Can't be doing coke, bro, in hotel rooms anymore.
Really though? Like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares? Like
The point of hotel rooms nowadays?
I don't know. I just thought that was kind of dumb. Like, I feel like you could have taken that out. Like, and I know that was the only reason they brought that in was to bring up that
Bring
one
back
dude
the
that he was trying to
waitress
push
character.
out. Oh yeah, that too, I
That-
guess.
Yeah, that too.
But
I
like,
guess.
I mean, yeah, the book guy, the guy in charge of the publishing company, you know.
Right.
The
Yeah.
mob head from Eastern Promises with hair.
I didn't even draw that. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
It
There you go.
felt convenient in place like that part. The waitress essentially took you out of the whole experience because she was just so blatantly obvious. And maybe that's
Yeah.
her role as this person in the game, but it kind of made it sound like she was like the leading the charge here at the end, where she's like, "Oh, I gotta head off to this next thing." It's
I
like,
mean,
I feel like you'd be a little bit more seasoned to be a little bit more discreet, make it more immersive.
yeah. I did question
Or
too
the
how
back.
long it was going on, because when she spills shit on Michael Douglas in the restaurant right at the beginning,
Yeah,
he's like, "You almost did the same thing to me last week or 2 weeks ago."
yeah.
So she's been working there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But when did he start the game?
she
Like,
says at one point in the movie when she started there too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember
Yeah.
if it was too. I don't remember the time frame. But
right.
also, I mean, like, look, if you're Michael Douglas's character and you get a note from some random dude that says don't let her get away, and then she plays dumb, like, wouldn't you think that she's involved in the game?
Right.
I don't know. I just like
You're already sus.
I would automatically assume that she's involved,
Well,
regardless
also-
of what she says. Like,
She tells him that some person paid him $400 to spill on his suit or whatever. So
That
it's
is
like,
true.
I think she's like, "That's all I know," But like, if you're a rational person, you'd be like, "Well, so
I don't know.
in
I
on
guess
it
like
somehow."
I guess like what? Yeah, right. Like what I meant is like, why would they have you follow her if there was like nothing came from it?
Yeah.
Just to
Like
keep
nothing
an eye
came
on them
from
or-
that little sequence. Well,
Yeah.
when they
yeah,
like the guy on the street like has a heart attack or whatever, and then they go to the fake hospital that ends up being CRS, and it's like
Mhm.
like that whole sequence didn't really like lead to anything. So like if you're
Yeah.
Michael Douglas's character, wouldn't like after that, wouldn't you assume that she's in on it? Especially with the red bra thing in the pictures. Like, I don't know. I
Right.
just feel like it would to me, I feel like I would assume that she's involved.
yeah.
Like, I don't
for
know.
sure. It's like you have to hand wave it away because we need like a
Yeah.
little bit of romance in the movie. That's really
Yeah.
like.
And then we need to propel the movie forward somehow, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and talk about chance too. Them jumping into the dumpsters. What if Michael Douglas was just like a
I
couple
was
inches
thinking that
back?
same thing.
His head
Just like
bonks
this
that?
is a dumpster and
Yeah.
breaks his fucking legs.
Yeah.
Oh, the game's over. All right.
And-
Oh,
Oops, like, shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of little things like that where it's just like, well, that could have been the end of it. Oh shit.
Right. Which I mean, usually, I mean that's fine to get to a movie because that's the whole concept of the movie is a game. But when you have such a well put together first act and then it leads to this kind of sloppy second and third act, it just kind of feels like you had such good setup. put that much attention to that detail in those acts.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be as absurd as it was to get to that final part, I don't think, It
Right.
didn't have to be the whole chase gun shootout thing. Just little things like that where it could have been a little bit more grounded, and I think it would have been more successful.
I feel like
I agree.
even calling the movie like The Game, I feel like that
It's like
inherently
promising something.
flaws the movie because I don't know, I feel like they tried to read, I asked you guys if you fell for it and actually thought it wasn't a game or thought he was actually getting some money stolen, and you all said no, right? I mean, I thought the same thing, and it's the movie is called The Game. I mean, he's playing the game, it's obvious to the viewer that he's getting fucked with, I don't know, so I guess to a certain degree, the suspense is taken out for the viewer because that at the end it's just gonna be fine because they're just fucking with him the whole time.
Yeah.
But he's the one who's stressed out. I don't know. I guess it's just
I think it's gonna be okay in the end.
if you're watching a thriller, I feel like you're gonna raise the suspense if you don't know what happens. But the whole time, if you know that it's just the game, then I feel like it kind of takes some of the suspense out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they're trying to toy with is it the game the whole time?
Right.
To me the problem is you promise too much with the game, the fun, the miss, and then you have nothing to back it up with. That's I don't.
Yeah,
They
maybe
really built it up, and it was just kind of
It's
the wet shit.
Game
So
sucks.
you're saying
your game sucks. You can't give me a movie
if
called
it
The
was
Game.
more
and
convincing,
it's
do you
bad.
think it would be okay?
It's just
I
a little
think-
bit
Yeah,
weirder.
it'd be a way better movie.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think if they did more to maybe make it seem like Michael Douglas's character's actions were what were, I don't know, add some confusion in Michael Douglas. I don't know how Douglas's actions to
Well,
make it
that's
seem like he's driving
Right.
these events.
The game
rather than
sucks because
stuff
you're just on the
happening around
street.
it. Right.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're just on the street, and a homeless dude falls over, and it's this is
Okay.
what is the game
Yeah.
for? I don't
Right.
just it's supposed to get you your blood pumping so that you can get in an ambulance. It's nothing is, like you said, no, it's just he's not propelling anything. He's getting dragged. And at a certain point, any person would just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm walking away. I'll take a plane and dip.
Yeah.
It's
And
was it when he got done? Was he satisfied with his birthday gift? I mean, was that a fun?
Seemed like it.
right.
Everyone's
right.
oh, the experience is they build it up to
I
be this
feel
great
like-
experience, and it's just you jumped off a fucking
what?
building. Was it that good of an
Yeah.
experience? And you, when
I
you
mean,
got out and you saw the shirt, you're like, oh, I get it. It's a joke. No,
I will
that's fucked
say
up.
he is definitely a changed
yeah.
character. At the end,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if
he's going
that.
through an emotional crisis of sorts,
deny it,
to get
right.
in
Yeah.
there enough.
Drove
Yeah.
him to the point where he was comfortable enough to jump off that fucking building. So,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lackluster. I mean, I don't know.
It's kind of interesting that you were saying, Alex, that this was so did he write this before he wrote Seven, or what what was the time frame?
Somebody else wrote it, but it was slated to start filming this one. But then Brad Pitt got back and was able to do Seven right then and there. That was where it fit in Brad Pitt's schedule, and so they
Okay.
ran with Seven first. So
Well, it's probably
Imagine-
good because if this one was first, I don't know if
Yeah,
he would have
dude.
done very well
Yeah.
after.
With
Especially
Alien 3 in
after
the
Alien.
mist,
right.
yeah,
I think this movie was decently well received though at the time.
It was,
I think
yeah.
people like it more than maybe we do.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it's just not interesting enough.
It's a great premise. I feel like it's a premise
Yeah.
that people have reused because it's so good.
yeah.
Probably just
And-
perfected.
fucking
It's
rich
probably
people.
watered down by now by this idea of subverting your expectations and stuff through this elaborate game ruse type shit. Because
Escape
this was
room.
1997,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I
97,
mean,
97.
this was
It's
probably a fresh,
like,
cool idea back then.
for sure.
Right.
It's pre American Psycho too, which was
Yeah.
the big corporate lens weird movie. It's
Yeah.
before that one too, so it was onto something for sure. It just
Right.
didn't have the modern sensibilities to really push it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But we forgive you, Fincher, because I'm
Yeah.
excited for the next movie, man. I mean, we're not supposed to talk about it, but
Fight Club.
we
right?
will. We will next.
So hype.
Oh, we don't talk
Son
about
of
it.
Bleep
Oh
him
shit!
out.
Am I not
Get him out of the call.
What? I
Get him
thought you
out
were
of
talking
here.
about the next. Oh shit!
You know where to meet in the
I'm
dingy
just
basement
gone
of that
next
bar.
week.
Has everybody seen Fight Club?
Yes, sir.
Everybody seen this one?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a fun chat. I kind of want to revisit it anyway, so it's gonna be fun.
Too.
Man, I love the narration. I thought the film is fantastic. Yeah, we get into it next week. But
Yeah.
so
First
fucking
rule
good.
about Fight
One of
Club.
the
I guess we will.
true.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't say our ratings. If you want to say the ratings for
Oh,
the
yeah,
game.
What'd you
I
got?
had it at 3 stars, and I think I'm just gonna leave it. You know, it's got enough like premise and like decent 90s execution to be like better than just a standard 2.5-star movie. Doesn't go any farther than that, though. I'd say for me.
Yeah, my instinct was 3.5, but I think I'll have to go with 3 too.
That was exactly what I wrote down 3.5, but I think I'm gonna drop down to 3.
Yeah,
I don't
just fits better. It's yeah.
Could be 3. I mean, this is definitely Fincher's weakest movie, I'd say, if not counting Alien 3. You know,
I was gonna say like
is like out of his like brand of movies, this one is so far the ones I've seen, it's the weakest.
I'm between a 2.5 and a 3. Haven't decided yet. I don't know. It just the ending did not sell it for me. It kind of just destroyed.
you were kind of
everything.
going in on it.
I
Not great.
I don't know.
Not great. I don't think like it's one I'd ever revisit of his. You know,
Yeah,
I'd
I
probably
don't
revisit
think so
almost all
either.
the other ones, but yeah.
Just like if I'm driven to jump off a roof for this fun game, it wasn't fun. All right, you don't get out
Right.
and an offer to pay half the fucking bill. Like, come on, no. You tried to just kill yourself. You realize that, right? And you're like, hey,
That bar
what's
is
the
free.
cost of my
That
life?
is-
Let me see that
Right, like-
bill.
Just comes out like, hey, it was all a ruse. Like
All
you just
true.
tried to commit suicide, but it's
yeah,
fine.
right.
Like
Cool.
Get it?
We're
You get
partying.
it?
Yeah.
Just like
we
Daniel,
convinced
huh?
you to try to
Funny
murder
joke.
yourself. Like
Yeah.
Jesus. Like
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
yeah.
Haha, you get it?
You
Yeah.
get it? It's fucked up. 2.5 or 3. I'll figure it out. I'll pray
Fair.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep on it.
Yeah.
Remake this one into a mini series or another movie sometime, and
It'd
I
be
feel
cool.
like
It could
that
be
would
better.
work a lot better.
Yeah, I think that was a good idea. I could definitely see this being a pretty cool like HBO or Hulu series or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially with that intro, right?
Seriously. Just put it next to Succession.
after
Yeah.
Succession, the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Right.
Well, thanks for listening to another Director's Dive, guys, and join us
Yeah.
next week to talk about the movie we don't talk about. Have a good week.
That's right.
Yeah.